All right, my beautiful angels. It is week 5, which means you have made it through the complete first 4 weeks. That is freaking exciting. That is a milestone. That is amazing. Bugs thinks it is too. So, transitioning into week 5, we're going to talk a little bit about manifestation, cardio for certain goals, the differences between fat loss, maintenance, recomposition, and muscle gain, as well as our fourth variable training method, which is hypertrophy pyramid. So, let's get into it. So, starting off with manifestation, I'm sure you're pretty familiar with affirmations by now. Affirmations really just focus on bringing your uncontrolled or out of control thoughts, the negative ones, to a more positive, enlightening realm in the present. So, manifestations go hand in hand with affirmations because they allow you to believe that you are capable of achieving these goals, intentions, or desires, which are manifestations. So, manifesting, or the law of attraction is the ability to attract into our lives whatever we're focusing on. And the power of our mind translates into our thoughts and ends up materializing those things. So, in more condensed versions, in a more condensed version, all thoughts turn into things eventually. So obviously, if you focus on the negative part of things, the doom, the gloom, you're going to remain under that cloud. But if you focus on the positive thoughts and positive goals, then you will find some way to achieve those things with massive action. So I've kind of condensed manifestations into 4 different categories. 1, love and relationships. 2, money and wealth. 3, mental and physical health, as well as 4, success and abundance. All the manifestations pretty much fall under one of these 4 categories, but every manifestation is implemented in 3 different ways. So you'll either think about it on the unconscious or subconscious level, which is deep rooted thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. This is when you're focusing on changing deep rooted habits or thoughts or ways of thinking. And then surface level is what most people are familiar with. So materialized items like house, mansion, job, reputation, popularity, money, things, stuff, the right person, and all that good stuff. And then lastly, conscious manifestations really focus on you initiating your desires, you initiating your manifestations. So being aware of the law of attraction, being aware of vibrations, being aware of energy. Now, going into the benefits of manifestation. So it clears any mess that may be in the way of your vision. You'll start to become aware of tools, people, and internal resources that will be required in order for you to reach those desires, um, as well as figure out what kind of tools, people, and internal resources are blocking you from manifesting those desires. 2, it'll invite more relaxation into your day-to-day life because you're taking time and energy to focus on your personal needs and your personal wants. 3, removes a sense of procrastination, mind blocks, or the mindset that something is just going to fall into your lap. Because as you become more clear, excited, and accepting of your manifestations, endorphins are released, which will produce a feeling of well being and a sense of positivity. So your body physically reacts to what your mind is telling yourself. And your energy will no longer feel stagnant or empty, which brings in more space for creativity and abundance. And then lastly, it increases trust in your intuition. So your trust in yourself will start to bring everyday synchronicities or meaningful coincidences Some examples could include dream, repeating numbers, angel numbers, names, locations, etc. Now, how to manifest. Big Q right here. So the most important aspects of manifestation are consistency and belief. So it's really important to repeat them every single day in order to really emphasize how much you want these desires and let the universe know that you want these desires. So just like affirmations, it's good to write all of your manifestations on a piece of paper, in your notes app, or whatever you want to use. But it's important to structuralize it in a sense that it focuses on the present. So to start out with your manifestation, make sure you have I am. That way, you're bringing your desires and your goals into the present tense, which makes it more realistic. After I am that present tense, you're going to incorporate your feelings. So, how are you feeling now? Visualize it that you have this desire. How is it making you feel internally, externally? It makes me feel grateful. It makes me feel excited. It makes me feel crazy amazing. Whatever you're feeling, visualizing with this desire or manifestation. And the best time to do these is right when you wake up during your morning routine to ensure you have a positive start to your day. It's also beneficial to do them right before you go to bed too, because right when you wake up and right before you go to bed are the two most important times to manipulate your subconscious mind or your your patterns, your thoughts that you have grown up with forever. Um, you want to be as specific as possible, down to the dollar amount, down to the date, hour, minute, etc. We'll talk about that more in the examples on the next slide. And after you type or write out your manifestations, speak them out loud with full confidence to wholeheartedly accept every single one. And then again, read them in your head or aloud right before you go to bed. Just like affirmations, repetition is so, so important in order to emphasize how bad you want these things. Some tips, again, being consistent, get excited about waking up and speaking your dream goals, your dream life into existence, because that's how you're going to start magnetizing these things. Two, focus on a couple manifestations at once. So that way, all your focus and all your energy is going towards those few things. And then, lastly, don't force yourself into a bubble of dreaming small, quote unquote, not realistic desires or things. You have the ability to achieve any goal or any intention you put your mind to. Change the narrative and feed your energy into figuring out how to attain those goals rather than creating fears and excuses around them. Remember, if you've thought of anything before, it's likely that someone has already done it. So it's possible. We're all humans, we're all the same species. We all can make something happen similarly. So transitioning into the manifestation examples, this will kind of just give you an outline of what some of yours can look like, broken up into those 4 categories. So 1, love and relationships. Example here, I am so happy and grateful. So we have the present tense there with the emotions, that it is now May 15th, 2021. Details, and I have manifested a smart, kind, driven, and motivated man. Details. Money and wealth, I am so happy and grateful that I have netted 10K in the month of January. 10K details, month of January details. Mental and physical health, I am so happy and grateful that it is now May 2021 and I have my anxiety and depression tendencies under control. 4, I am so happy and grateful that I onboarded 10 new clients in the month of January. Now transitioning into the fitness topics. So first we're going to break up the differences between fat loss, recomposition, maintenance, and muscle gain. Now the big difference between these 4 goals or desires is calorie and food intake. It all comes down to food. And you can add in things like cardio and micronutrient intake, like vitamins and minerals, on top of your overall food take to maximize some of these certain goals. So, goal number one, fat loss. Primary focus is maximal fat loss with as much muscle preservation as possible. And to ensure those goals, it's important to consume 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight to preserve your current level of muscle. Focus on your quality of food, not just quantity. So, incorporating twice the amount of veggies you typically consume on a daily basis. 3, incorporating some low intensity steady state cardio 3 to 5 times a week for 10 to 30 minutes as a fat loss aid to heighten the amount of energy you're exerting. And list cardio will just break through that first barrier of body fat rather than dive into your layer of muscle as well that hit and miss will hit. So we'll go deeper into those different types of cardio in the next slide. And then lastly, attempting to uphold your current level of strength in your weight training sessions, because if you're not consuming an adamant amount of calories, then you won't be able to push as much weight as you would if you were consuming in a surplus, because food is our main energy source. And then maintenance is number 2. Maintenance primary focus here is to sustain your current physique and your current strength state. So incorporating the 80-20 principle, 80% whole foods, 20% whatever else you're feeling. Incorporating cardio if you wish. It's not mandatory. Here you can choose what you want to do depending on what you like/enjoy. And then same thing as fat loss, attempting to uphold your current level of strength in your weight training sessions. Now into muscle gain. Primary focus is to increase muscle mass and strength with minimal fat gain. So here you won't have to consume as much protein because you won't have to preserve as much. We're just building on top of it. So 0.8 grams per pound of body weight is ideal. And then alongside protein intake, it's super important to focus on consuming carbs in every meal so that your body has an adequate amount of energy in order to tear more muscle fibers in the gym and build new ones. Lastly, train hard, eat hard, sleep hard. So training sessions are where the muscle fibers are going to tear microscopically. And when you sleep and when you eat is where those microscopic tears are going to reconstruct and form back stronger. Now, the last goal here is recomposition. This is a goal for a lot of people, but it's not realistic for a lot of people because it's tricky. Realistically, it's only possible for a weight training newbie. So someone that has undergone an ideal weight training program for less than 6 months. And 2, it's important to consume, again, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight to preserve the level of muscle. Quality of food is important here as well, and cardio as needed, if need be, if wanted. And then we'll talk about the specific types of cardio. It's great for cardiovascular health, improves your vital functions of your internal organs, and aids in physique goals, like we talked about previously. If you enjoy cardio, great, that's awesome. You can incorporate it into your weekly regime, but it's not required. You don't have to do it. We're not going to force you to do it if you don't enjoy it. Exercise should be fun. It shouldn't feel like a chore. But it is best to perform cardio sessions after weight training or separate from weight training to keep your primary focus on gaining and sustaining muscle growth/strength. So the 3 types of cardio, number 1 is LISS. So this is low intensity steady state. This is any cardio activity where you keep your heart rate between 100 to 130 beats per minute and you should be able to hold a basic conversation at this state. Some examples: incline treadmill, biking, elliptical, stairmaster, etc. Great for targeting fat loss specifically. Great for if you're looking for something low impact, as well as a weight training cool down. 2, MISS, so that is moderate intensity steady state. This is any cardio activity where you keep your heart rate between 140 and 160 beats per minute. It should be difficult to hold a basic conversation here. Example, same thing as those list examples. List, great here for endurance improvement and fat loss only. Then lastly, high intensity interval training consists of 10 to 30-second high intensity short bursts where your heart rate is up to 90% of your max, and followed by a few seconds of rest, then you're repeating. It should be nearly impossible to hold a conversation while doing this type of high intensity training. Examples here: intervals of 20-second sprints followed by 40-second rest. And you can do the same thing with resistance exercises as well. Great for cardio with a time restriction, great for an addition on top of a training schedule with less than 4 workouts a week, or if you're focusing on fat loss only. Now, transitioning into the 4th variable training method, hypertrophy pyramid. Personally, this is one of my favorites because it focuses on increasing muscle size and pushing your muscles until failure. So the goal here is to focus on decreasing the weight that you're using while the reps increase, to hone in on strength before fatigue sets in. Um, Hypertrophy training hypertrophy pyramid emphasizes pushing your muscles until failure, which increases the overall progressive overload that we need to tear and build more muscle. So first set, we'll start at the bottom. This is going to be your strongest set with 10 reps. And then as you increase those reps every single set, that weight is going to decrease, but you still should be challenging yourself every single set. The final 2 to 3 reps should be very challenging, should be very hard. So if you have any questions about this variable training method number 4, if you have any questions about manifestation or the types of goals / cardio, just message me, reach out, and I will answer those for you. But get excited for month 2. I hope you have a great rest of your week.